This article is from 2020.
Okay.
Were you hearing the phrase black swan back in 2020?
Well, I
like regularly in the news.
No, not in the news. I myself knew what a black swan event was back when I went through Intel analyst school. They talked about that.
Yes, that was one of the favorite buzzwords of the Intel community.
Yeah.
It surfaced right around 2004 as I was getting out.
I'm trying to remember when I think I went to Intel analyst school in 2007.
2007?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the hog, the swine farm one in, where are the Mormons at? What state are they in?
Utah?
Yeah, it was in Utah.
I didn't know about that school. I mean, I knew there was a school there. I didn't know it was called the swine farm or the hog farm or whatever.
That's what we called it because it always smelled like pig shit.
Oh, that's because there's pig farms in the
area. Yeah, it smelled like pig shit. You just got used to it.
Yeah.
I remember the guy running the school. We're PT in the morning. You guys smell that? Well, you won't smell it in 6 weeks when you leave.
Yeah.
Because you get
over it.
Yeah.
Korea's the same way. The entire country smells like pig shit.
Yes.
They fertilize the fields with. I went through the Intel schools at Huachuca and San Angelo, Texas. We were out on a land nav standing on a ridge in Huachuca, and they have these things called javelinas. Do you know the javelinas? They're pigs, and they're about this big.
Oh, yeah.
And they travel in packs of 4,000 to 5,000.
The archery targets.
We're standing on top of a ridge looking for our point, and two guys come running up the draw at our feet down on the ground, about 15 feet down. They're being chased by these little javelinas, like 100 of them.
Wow.
That was pretty funny.
Right.
I've seen guys chased by pigs in the desert. So the important part about this article here is they're worming the word black swan in at a level where bored housewives are going to pick it up and talk about it. Now they can use it in movies like The Handmaid's Tale and insert that into your brain there. And I'm just using that as an example. I don't know if that actually happened, but that's what they'll do. And they work it into your head so that when you hear black swan, you know that the world is about to end and something terrible is going to happen.
Yes.
Nassim Nicholas Taleb is irritated, he told Bloomberg Television on March 31st, whenever the coronavirus pandemic is referred to as a black swan, the term he coined for an unpredictable, rare, catastrophic event in his best-selling 2007 book of the title, The Black Swan, was meant to explain why in a networked world we need to change business practices and social norms, not, as he recently told me, to provide a cliche for any bad thing that surprises us. Now, he didn't invent the phrase, but he did nail what they're doing. They needed a nice, cute phrase that people would say for a bad event that we didn't see coming.
Okay. Yeah.
They're eliminating terrorist attack. They're eliminating jihadis blowing things up because now it's a black swan.
Black swan event. Because they're going to blame the next big shit on someone else.
I'm curious here.
Okay, here we go.
I'm curious.
Movie Black Swan.
When was that movie? That's interesting. Black Swan was put out in 2010.
Wow. Okay. Talk about pre-programming.
They're reaching back there.
Uh-huh.
And that just occurred to me, the movie Black Swan that came out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, it's a ballet movie, but now we're looking at things and events that are happening today and everything's being called Black Swan. How far back were they trying to trigger us?
Well, that's actually a good point because let's just be honest. There are alphabet agencies that have actually done a lot of these psychological experiments.
Mockingbird.
On U.S. citizens in the past.
CIA admitted to doing exactly this.
CIA?
Yes.
Yeah.
The CIA. Go look for the Mockingbird tapes.
Yes.
This is exactly what the CIA said they would do. They would program society and would be satisfied when the population, everything that they actually believed was false.
You want to talk about the ultimate mind screw?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the movie The Black Swan came out in 2010. I will bet you dimes to dollars that those CIA personnel are still working in those studios in those newsrooms and still putting out stuff like this, because here it is in 2020. Black Swan, the movie, came out in 2010, and they couch it as entertainment, and they put it in places where people who are going to gossip. And that's the cosmopolitan housewives of New York who read The New Yorker.
So what you're saying is it's a it's a psyop. They're warming up a psyop.
Yes.
And right now we're at the crescendo.
Yes.
Because
I would agree with that.
We're going to see some major shit happen here in the next year, maybe 2 years. Who knows?
Now, the warning that the guy who wrote the book Black Swan, that he referred to appeared in a January 26 paper he co-authored with a couple of guys when the virus was still mainly confined to China. The paper cautions that owing to increased connectivity, the spread will be nonlinear. That's standard with a disease that's contagious, by the way.
Yep.
2 key contributors to Taleb's anxiety. For statisticians, nonlinearity describes events very much like a pandemic, an output disproportionate to known inputs, owing to both unknown and unknowable inputs, into incubation periods in humans, random mutations, etc., or eccentric interaction among various outputs. Wet markets and airplane travel. Look, there's another buzzword. Remember when wet markets showed up? Or exponential growth from networked human contact, or all three. We know these things about viruses.
Well, hang on. Remember that movie Outbreak?
Yes.
Where they showed like the bat flying over and shitting in the soup and causing the whole fucking...
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we've got the wet market where they're selling bats and pangolins and all that other stuff. Like, come on! This
movie?
I don't remember what it is.
Outbreak. 1995.
Yeah.
That was 1995.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going back like 30 goddamn years.
So, they didn't use Black Swan in that, though,
no,
but they were suggesting the idea of wet markets there. That's fairly obvious. The bat shitting in the soup and pangolins, etc.
Yeah.
They were obviously suggesting there's a whole
man, I
my
just
research
peeled
brain
an
is going,
onion.
that mapping tool that I use, that where I produce those maps.
Yeah.
Right now, my brain is going. Just like that too. My brain actually makes those noises. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, he used to live in the next room next to me, so I used to hear it.
Black Swan started as a literal reference to a black swan that nobody thought existed. It means something that everybody thought didn't exist or couldn't happen. That's all a black swan is. It has become a catastrophic event with terrible consequences. And the media is using the word and inserting it everywhere they can, so it gets into your head that now you use the phrase black swan event instead of terrorist attack. You'll notice the words terrorist attack are gone.
Correct.
Now anything bad will just be a black swan. This is neurolinguistic programming.
Yeah.
And an article from the New Yorker 2020 referring to the coronavirus outbreak as a black swan. I'm imagining if we could find the sources, you could probably relate the title of the movie Black Swan to this somehow. That sounds really conspiratorial and tinfoil hatty, but we've learned that all of those things are true.
But here's the crazy part.
Yeah.
There's 2 veterans in this room.
Yes.
And we're picking apart shit that they started doing 30 fucking years ago.
Yes.
And telling you it's coming to a crescendo here shortly.
Yes, that is correct.
Why in the hell hasn't anyone else picked up on this? Oh, that's right. Alex Jones did, and they called him a crackpot for decades. And most of the stuff he predicted is actually happening. Who knew?
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.